How's it going, folks? This is Mike, back for another edition of the weekly film chat with James and Ian and anybody else who wants to play along. So, okay, let's see, it's very late in the evening. I want to get this done before the day is out, get it all posted. Let's see, the subject that James came up with has to do with, I guess the question is, why do some of us, a lot of us, insist on buying multiple copies of the same film, right? As part of our collection OCD sickness. I think it is a sickness. I think we're all suffering from the same virus, and we need treatment. Maybe we should all be put in the same padded cell, or shock treatment, or something like that. I really don't know. There are a lot of things that I have replaced because I just feel that I can get a better copy. I guess that's well, I did it last night. I admit it. I did it last night, very late. I was online searching around for Jean Harlow items on oldies.com, and I started thinking about a movie that I had looked at earlier in the day. I was looking at my copy of a silent film called Beggars of Life, a film directed by William Wellman and starring Wallace Beery, Richard Arlen, and Louise Brooks. And of course, Louise Brooks is the reason I bought it. And it came from an outfit called Grapevine Video, which I think, let's see, I don't know very much about them, but they were kind of instrumental in getting some of Louise Brooks' films put on DVD, because most of her films are lost. So that was, for a while, that was pretty much the only place you could get some of those really obscure films. So I sent away for this, and it's not a bad copy. I'm very happy with it. But something popped into my head when I was looking at this, and I was trying to remember that I heard that somebody had remastered it and put out a slightly better version. So I went online, and on oldies.com I found out that, yeah, Kino Lorber had put out a version of Beggars of Life. So I just clicked on it and bought it. Didn't even think about it. So yeah, I do it every once in a while. And it's funny because I had that movie out yesterday, looking at it, and today I was going to show it to you today, but I can't find it. I don't know where I put it. It's buried somewhere in the house, probably upstairs in my TV room. I have no idea what I did with it. I may have thrown it away. No, I'm sure I didn't do that. But so anyway, yeah, there are a lot of reasons why I buy multiple copies. Now, I admit that I have 6 copies of Black Sunday. I have 6 copies of another Barbara Steele horror film called Nightmare Castle, including a VHS tape that I've had for 20 years that for some reason, I just can't bring myself to part with, even though I'll never play it again. So it all depends on who it is, what the film is, how much it means to me, and it's hard to explain. Now, some of the things that I've replaced with Criterions, I'll give you a look-see here. Here, the original version of In a Lonely Place, the Nicholas Ray film starring Humphrey Bogart. Seconds, starring Rock Hudson. This is the original version I've got. Also, The Night of the Hunter. Okay, I kept all these for some strange reason, and I intend to keep them. But I was honored, very honored to get these on Criterion, because these films to me are so important. They mean so much to me, especially these two. I mean, really, this is my number one. This is very close to number one. Yeah, so, but I have to say that in looking at the visuals, these are damn good. I mean, just looking at the film, I have no complaints about the way they look on screen. So I don't know. And I actually have not played the Criterion version of this yet, so I really can't say. But I do upgrade quite often to Criterion. I don't always wait for the sale. Sometime last year, I couldn't wait for the Criterion edition of Blow Up, the Antonioni film, to come out, and I went to Barnes & Noble and I said, set aside a copy for me. And they said, Blu-ray or DVD? And I said, Blu-ray. What the hell? I paid full price for it when it came in. Thrilled to get it, but I still kept my old copy of Blow Up because it has a commentary. So, I'm not going to get rid of the old stuff all the time. I also upgraded The Innocents, the classic horror film with Deborah Carr. Now, for some reason, I did give the old one, the old copy of that away. I'm not sure why. What else did recently I upgraded some films that in a way they were kind of impulse purchases, and I feel kind of bad about doing it. I bought The Graduate, I bought Sullivan's Travels, and there was something else that I bought. I can't recall right now. But yeah, I felt kind of like I wasted my money on those two. I haven't even opened them yet, and I love both of those movies, but I probably did not need to replace those. Sometimes it really is just kind of an impulse decision, and I feel guilty about it after I've done it. So let's see what else. One thing I did replace on Criterion that I was very happy about was Terrence Malick's Days of Heaven. So I'm very happy to have that. I also replaced The Big Chill. Probably did not need to do that at all. I thought the extra features were going to be really cool, and they are. I'm glad I have them, but the film doesn't necessarily look any better. So, and I now have 3 copies of Easy Rider, which is probably not necessary, but I've got them. So now some things that I'm definitely not going to replace, even though they've come out on Criterion. One is Eraserhead, because I bought this copy several years ago and it's perfect. I see no reason to replace it. Let's see, what else? Oh, here's one. I think Criterion, I'm pretty sure Criterion has put out a new box set of Bob Dylan's Don't Look Back. And this is put out by somebody. I can't see it without my glasses, sorry. But this is a really nice multi-disc set with lots of extra features, and I see no reason to replace this. I'm not going to do it. So will not be replacing that. I also Citizen Kane. Now I know I said in a couple of videos ago that I finally saw the Blu-ray edition of Citizen Kane in one of my film classes, and I was blown away by it. And this is the DVD edition. I don't think I'm going to replace this anytime soon. Never say never, but this is a very nice package with lots of extra features, and I see no reason to spend money on Citizen Kane at this time. Talk to me later. I don't know. I probably never would have bought this digibook of All About Eve if it had not been on sale at Big Lots for $5. But I thought, there's no way I'm going to pass this up. But once I saw this on Blu-ray, I really was blown away. I mean, just like I was with Citizen Kane, it really does look good. So I have to admit, I'm very happy about having. I have 2 other DVD copies of this as well. So I don't know. It just gets crazy. Now, some of the things that I've been talking about recently, films that are not available as yet on commercial releases, and I get them on these obscure websites or DVD-Rs, sometimes recorded from VHS tapes, television. One of my favorite websites for doing that is a place called thevideobeat.com. I buy a lot of stuff from them. Now, I bought this years ago. One of the first things I bought from them, this John Cassavetes film called Too Late Blues, which I remember seeing on American Classic Movies, and I really loved it. So I bought this and was happy to have it. Several years later, the commercial release came out, and I could not pass it up. So I'm once in a while, I will replace the stuff that I buy from those obscure websites, wanting to get a much better print and a much better look. But some of the stuff that I find from these companies, they're so good I may not replace them. So there are all kinds of different reasons for doing different things, and unfortunately it all involves spending a lot of money that I don't really need to spend. Now, James brought up an interesting point that he likes to take his DVDs off the shelf just to look at the art, because we have so much stuff that we can't display the front of the DVD anymore because it takes up too much space. When I used to have a bunch of VHS tapes, and I bought a couple of shelves for the room that eventually became my TV room, and I had the DVDs, or the Blu-rays, VHS tapes, I had them facing out like this so I could see the art when I went into the room. Well, eventually I started getting so much stuff that I had to put them, side by side. And of course, that's the way it is now with all my DVDs and Blu-rays. So it's not that much fun to go in the room and just look at stuff. But I don't know. I think every time I start talking about stuff like this, I begin to wonder if it's time to start weeding things out and shrinking up the collection a little bit. But so I guess that's all I wanted to say. Yes, I have multiple copies of many things. I'm sure it's going to keep happening in my collecting life, but I'm trying to show some restraint. It is not easy. So, all right, let me know what you think, and I will see you later.